Hi friends, so welcome to AGS Academy. Today I'm going to speak on a very different topic and that's prominently very significant for two reasons. Number one, those who are from universities or colleges, and for those who are preparing for UPSC or competitive exams or any BPSC or PCS state exams. Today's title, what I am going to discuss is in this particular video, and the title of that is Power versus Hegemony and understanding influence in global dynamics. Today, with this topic, because this is very important for many of us, really confront and don't feel what exactly these two terminologies talk about. So, as a part of introduction, starting from that, we'll see with live examples, we will see how these are very influential and how they are important from regional, national, and global perspective. So let's have the introduction of this particular video's part. This title underlines the significance for all the global audience as well as for all civil services competitive exams, as I just said now. It explores the concepts through examples and introduces the topic of the presentations, and it focuses on explaining the concepts of power and hegemony with real world examples. When we talk about like power, dear friends, power is the ability to influence or control the behavior of others. It talks about how exactly you get things done from others. Power really is significant, be it from the locality, the region, the nation, or international sphere. Anywhere it has huge significance which controls others. Then what about hegemony? Hegemony indicates and refers to leadership or dominance, especially by one state or social group over others, and tries to control in the best practically possible manner. We have many examples of it which we can really underline and leverage. In the post COVID-19, if we talk about of the current examples, then we have the evergreen, the Pax Americana. In this globalized world, we have USA, as you know, has the capabilities and abilities to change the current course of history. Dear friends, it's not like something we are not aware about this. It's only power on the earth which is the mightiest in today's world, which has everything to leverage, control, regulate, and others. Whatever it desires, it does. USA has the will and power to change the regimes of the elected governments and force the insiders to work for us, USA. The latest example already we have from South Asia. Needless to explain that, you already will understand what exactly it means. Dear friends, another example in this connection we can have, that's Russia. Russia has the capacity to change the topography of other countries in a way that it can. It's a different story whether it's willing or not willing, but already we are seeing examples, and latestly, currently, what we have this Ukraine and Russian crisis where Russia is doing what the world knows very better about this. Dear friends, then after this we have another emerging and already emerged on the globalized forum, and that's China. China has the potentials and influence to make many countries regarding to make them rounded in its favor, economically particularly. Hence, power can be wielded in different ways depending on the context and the source of influence. What does it mean? Even in the post-contemporary world of this COVID-19, what is happening? Those who are controlling power, they are creating hegemony over others. They are deciding the future, the regimes, the governments, everything of a nation, and other nation is helpless before this mighty power. Therefore, this power and hegemony what we are discussing today is very significant from today's globalized world. Now, what are the areas which we talk about in this particular these two terminologies? One of them is coercive power. What does it mean? Coercive power refers to military interventions forcing political change. Do we have the example of it? Yes, of course we have the example. The latest in the case is Afghanistan. How Afghanistan's entire regime was wiped out changed and thrown out and implanted the US led forces and entire regime there until again it was overtaken by the same regime which was thrown away. Then another one what we call expert power. It refers to scientific community influencing public opinion on climate change, on a variety of issues, and on different perspectives where the opinion can be taken, where the expert power holder can have the influence. Then we have the next one, reward power. Reward power refers to the foreign aid as a tool to influence policies of other nations. This is very common by the major powers, and they try to influence and change the policy of mostly third world countries or Afro-Asian countries. Afro-Asian means Asia and Africa countries belonging to them. Then we have referent power, and they are the influencers shaping public opinion through social media. Dear friends, in this connection, let's go again back to square one about hegemony. Then what exactly hegemony talks about, what it does, what it is. It explains hegemony as the social, cultural, ideological, or economic influence exerted by a dominant group, dominant nation, or a group of nations, or group of factors. But particularly when we talk about hegemony here in globalized world, then definitely we talk about the major powers, particularly US and allies and other influential powers of the world. When you go about like examples with in historical context, hegemonic examples we have earlier Roman Empire regarding cultural and legal dominance over conquered territories. Then British Empire, it controlled economic and political over colonies and complete takeover of regime. The United States of today's globalized world after World War II also did the same thing culturally, economically. It influenced through media and paid and aid programs in different perspectives, and now in many forms whatever it tends to do and whatever it can, it all is doing. Dear friends, let's go now to the contemporary or modern hegemonic examples. When we talk about in this connection that we have economic hegemony, that's one of the most important tool. That influence of multinational corporations on a global trade policy is very, very significant, and they tend to change the past policies of the regimes of different countries. Then we have cultural hegemony. Hollywood's influence on global pop culture. Yes, even we can give the example of our own countries of Bollywood as a soft power is really creating very positive image across many countries. Then technological hegemony, we have dominance of Silicon Valley in shaping digital technologies. Also, coming back to, if we talk about India, here again IT industry is doing commendably well and has now its own influence. What I mean to say, there are many select only, which really is doing commendably those manifestations which really have of control and hegemony. They influence, they control, and they create and exert powers across those nations which are not strong enough to resist the concept of power and hegemony. Dear friends, so let's talk about power versus hegemony. They highlight the difference between power and hegemony in a sense. Power is the ability to influence, as we just talked about before this, and tries to influence others and get it done. On the other hand, hegemony is the sustained, institutionalized dominance over time for a longer period of time or with a specific goal and desires. Dear friends, every aspect has two coins, if you already know, and so if power and hegemony are there, then challenges are also to hegemony. We discuss challenges faced by hegemonic powers, like rise of new economic powers. We have the example BRICS, which is coming up, ASEAN, which is coming up, European Union already are there on the global horizon, which are challenging an emerging bloc already presented their views and doing comparatively well in their respective spheres. Then we have resistance movements and globalization promote cultural diversity. Also, is something which can turn out to be an stumbling block before the hegemony. Then we have technological advancements and that are reducing information control of major parts. Dear friends, if we talk about like contemporary debates regarding these two, then we have present contemporary debates related to power and hegemony mostly concentrate around digital platforms that influence on elections and public opinion are rampant. Climate change policies, they're also very much where major powers have their own say besides other powers. And cooperation among nations are the need which can really be beneficial for every community of nation. Then disparities in global healthcare access during the COVID-19 pandemic also is the point which need to be debated to counterbalance. Dear friends, then what are the implications conclusion? Therefore, to conclude, it can be said that contemporary power and hegemony has huge scopes for the major powers to apply coercion in their favors. So, what is the solution then? Let's emphasize the need for a balanced power dynamics and cultural diversity in a globalized society. Finally, summarize the key takeaways of entire video what we talked just now and emphasize the importance of balanced power dynamics, cultural diversity and cooperation in the modern globalized world to overcome and to tide over the crisis of what exactly the world is coming across about these problems being created by major powers in terms of power and hegemony. Thank you very much.